I'll hit you with another Harris quote. Payroll questions again. Like, he kind of scoffs at the idea that we'd ask about payroll. So then I have every right to read into this and say, I'm concerned. That doesn't mean I'm judging the whole offseason today on November 13th. I'm just reading the quotes from the man himself.
He's also
said
said
reporting.
that when the time is right, the money will be there. Now, if the time's not right now, then I start to question his acumen as to when will it actually be right. Does everything have to be on a tee for you to go out there and actually spend some money?
Like all this right now, I just believe this offseason is going to be a better version of last year's offseason, meaning they're going to add actually something that's a little bit more quality. I actually thought the hidden gem in Petzold's article was Jake Berger. And he's with the Marlins.
Mark Canha?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's better.
I mean, it's your word. Marginally
Positive
better.
WAR player throughout his career. Better WAR when he was with the White Sox with a better team. I mean, the Marlins were god-awful. They were the White Sox of the National League last year. He plays both first and third base. Versatility, provides flexibility for torque to potentially still play first base, but can easily go over there, and then you put in Vierling at third. I think he's under team control through 2028. I think there's some substance to throwing that name in that article as a potential target. It fits what they want to do.
It's a total penny-pinching small market move. He's a .5 WAR player last season.
25-plus homers.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
Pop, right-handed bat.
If you want to settle.
And then,
I don't want to settle.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what if the offseason looked like this? The two biggest moves were trading for Jake Berger and signing Sean Manaea. But I can see something like that playing out. I really can. Now, I'm simply proposing something here. Do I agree with this? No. I think you should swing for the fences and go get Alonso, and you should give up on torque. That's what I believe. But I could see them doing something like this and see that working. I really could, because it fits the timeline of the young guys coming up.
Well, it's funny you mentioned timeline, because I think that was actually a key passage in Petzold's article. He points out that the Tigers' offer, from what he's heard, was not competitive to Skubal. And he cites an AL executive who points out, well, Skubal does kind of set the timeline. If they're not going to extend him, but they are a playoff team, you got to spend right now to win while you have Tarek Skubal.
Right.
So it really becomes this key. Fine, you don't want to overpay for Tarek Skubal. Then you better pay somebody to help win while you have Tarek Skubal.
Exactly. So what if that offseason trade for Berger, sign Manaea, and Skubal's extended? Getting you thinking a little bit here.
Well, it would be a commitment to somebody who could be here for a while, a star player. I mean,
the best player on the team.
Yeah, a guy who was instrumental in the push late in the season. He pitched his ass off. Let's get to the phones. Let's go to Jake. You're on 97.1.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
I wanted to the three big names that are on my board are Bregman, Alonso, and Christian Walker, which is on the big boards of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand Scott Harris's comments of blocking the young guys, because those are the two positions that you have nobody coming. You have a young catcher and the kid from L.A., yes. You have an outfield that I think set for the foreseeable future. If you want to say you got to have a weak position somewhere, Trey Sweeney was more than serviceable at shortstop last year. But you have no prospects at first and third base coming up. So where are you getting this mentality that you have young guys coming up? And torque. So how about this? Throw this out there to you. Another guy like Jake Berger that can possibly play third, but more of a first baseman. How about Vladdy? Use torque as a headline piece. Go get Vladdy. I'm not even the biggest fan of his, but that would surely show an effort to get better now, which is what we need with a team like this that made the playoffs last year and is looking to build on that and have some success going forward.
Yeah, they were a game away from the ALCS. Vladdy is, 25, 26 years old, slugger.
Yeah.
He's got pop in the bat. You'd have to trade prospects and extend him. It would be the level of investment that we've been waiting for is really a go-for-it move.
And so how much – because there's always a cost when you trade.
Yeah.
And the cost isn't going to be just torque, right? We're going to give you our not great player for your great player.
You will have to give up one of your top prospects.
Or more.
But you got to let dominoes fall here. because the Blue Jays are in the Soto sweepstakes. John Heyman wrote about it yesterday.
Yeah.
That they're going to, other than the Yankees and Mets, they're coming hard. They went hard after Ohtani. They offered Ohtani over $700 million. So this is why you've got to have, it is November, and you do need to have a little bit of patience here to let the dominoes start falling, and also test Scott Boras here a little bit.
Yep.
People have fired him.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
he has gotten too far into free agency and burned some of his clients recently, and now he's coming out big braggadocious in the Scooble stuff, 35 to 40 million, and Soto's going to get more than Ohtani. And okay, let's see it, Scott. So there's a chess going on here.
And Scott last year, Scott Boras was the agent for Matt Chapman, right? I believe, and there was Cody Bellinger. These guys who waited and waited and waited and did not get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So there is a little bit of Scott Harris is under the gun. Not Scott Harris, Scott Boras, a lot of Scotts. Scott Boras is under the gun this offseason too. I think it's a pivotal offseason for Boras in terms of how he's viewed by his clients and around the league. And maybe Scott doesn't want to be his Huckleberry and race out to overpay someone. I can respect it. But it is a big offseason for Scott Harris as well. It feels like this offseason is going to be an offseason that we reference for years. For good or bad, John, right? If you're coming off a playoff appearance, if you're coming off of a season where you have the manager of the year, a young roster, and you fail to support and add to it, and you miss the playoffs, we will cite this offseason for years to come. The opposite is also true. If they add the right bat, they identify a player via trade or free agency to bring into this organization who makes a difference, it will be hailed as the Tigers understood. They read the room. They saw what the crowds looked like. They see what the city desires, and they made the team better accordingly. This is a stupidly pivotal offseason for Scott Harris and this baseball team.
I think it is. And that's where, yes, we want to at least know that there's a sense of urgency. I think that's what we're lacking right now, is that we feel like there's no sense of urgency to a team that outperformed and did make the playoffs. Why can't you do it? Why can't that be the first of many years? But to make that a possibility, you're going to have to add. If you enter next year as constructed last year, does the same magic happen? Sure, there's always that chance, but does lightning strike twice?
Well, we had Benetti on, who's great, and he pointed out at the end of the year, it's like they were hitting 21 repeatedly.
Right.
It's not a way to go to a casino and go, I got to hit blackjack 8 times in a row. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's not a winning formula. Would it kill Scott Harris to offer some urgency publicly? I don't want him to overpromise, but I feel like he's either misread the room or he's been incredibly honest with us, and it's going to be a disappointing offseason.
We'll see.
Just offer a little urgency. Goes, hey guys, I know this fan base is excited, and we're going to do everything in our power to upgrade this baseball team. That doesn't box him into a corner, but it's not, we can't block guys, and we don't have any glaring holes, and the payroll question again. Gee, Scott, I wonder why people think this of you. They're using your words. Give people better reassurances. They want to believe in you. They want to believe in this baseball team.